This is James Gabsey. Welcome to the wrap-up episode of Rideshare, the series. We're joined by some of your favorite actors from the series and by the creator of Rideshare, Scott Zackerin himself. So, Eric, what was it like? You came on. What was your impression of this season?
My impression was that this was something new. That this was a hybrid, a podcast with a visual element that I had never really seen done before. And I think as actors, we want to do things that freak us out and scare us a little bit when we're not really sure what's going on. That's when I want to throw my hat in the ring. So I was just intrigued by the newness of it and the novelty of this idea. So
did everyone like how they appeared as a motion comic character in the series?
Yes.
Yeah, I was afraid Ryan was going to be mad at me because it wasn't as handsome as he is.
We drew some glasses on there. I'm into it. It's a character choice. I just love the talisman, which is like a throwback to season 1, and I'm so glad I got to see it finally.
That's cool. Is that some?
I'm glad I learned what a talisman was.
Yeah.
Julie, what was your take on all of this? Because you were amazing and you were hilarious at the same time. What did you think of this season?
Who did she play?
Thank you.
Well, Julie, tell us about your character. Tell us what you did.
I play Amanda. I appreciate you calling out the humor. To have the opportunity to do something that's both dramatic and comedic, that's my jam. That's my favorite thing. And I feel like, this forum has given me room to play. I know Scott has given some room to play.
I think you've written some of the best lines in episodes. You and Olivia have both had it's like, oh, that was my favorite line. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So.
That's very generous. That's very generous. But it also, it speaks to a collaborative atmosphere, which is usually where I know I thrive, and is the most fun. And it's really been a treat. I didn't know Amanda would be coming back after episode 2, and I was thrilled to continue her story and get to know her crazy family life and see this twisty relationship with Keith develop.
Yeah, the character was not necessarily supposed to be in the rest of the series. She was more in the first episode 2. She was really supposed to be showing that Keith has vulnerabilities. And then that cracked him open. And then forget about performance. Julie cracked us up constantly when we were recording.
Someone who cracked me up insanely, and I was not expecting it, was Olivia.
God, thank you.
Yeah, no. I remember during that recording how funny you were. Tell us about your character, and because I got a question I want to get your opinion on.
Oh, I love it. I love my character. I love the whole show. I love everything. I loved playing a douchier version of a girl that looks kind of like me. That was fun. Yeah, I love the direction of like them to be like, oh God, these people. And so Nick and I just had fun improvising whatever, I don't know, just like a game with yourself of like, what's the most disturbed thing I can say? And they can always cut it out if they want to.
The best line she had was when Peter's character said, yeah, my dad's got money. And she goes, yeah, her dad gave me my injections. I am butchering the line.
That's amazing.
That was awesome.
LA.
Right? That's an LA thing. Olivia, for your character of Liza, I got to ask, Liza and Peter, do they make it as a couple? And part B, would Keith be invited to the wedding?
Okay, so I think she baby traps him because his dad pays for her injections. And then I think he's down. I think they have a very bad relationship that lasts a very long time. I think they do get divorced, but I think they do get married first. I think they have a young wedding because that's kind of rebellious nowadays. And I think the wedding is just like full of like coke. I think Keith isn't invited, but he still comes.
So speaking of who's not going to be at the wedding of Peter and Liza, because he's dead.
Yeah.
Are you doing spoilers for this?
Yeah. Hashtag spoiler alert. As I told one of my favorite stories, we, to pull back the curtain, we always do like a pre-call with the cast before we do the recording. And this particular episode, the pier, everyone's on and everyone's being very polite, very, very casual, what have you, nice. And then all of a sudden Ryan comes on. I'm like, Ryan, how are you? And he's like, what'd you say? What was your line?
I die?
He was so angry. And he's like, you were like, where's Scott? Why would he do this? And I'm like, it's not personal. It's not personal. How did it feel to see like your character gets killed off like that?
You know, I mean, like we were saying, for season 2 here, you know, we haven't even met in person a lot of the actors we're working with. And so it's a really great experience to just be involved at all. But then to also be killed off, you take it personally. I miss this guy, poor Alex. Like I want to play. There's something about playing a character in a series where you get to re-put on those clothes again and again. And so it's not just like a few weeks on set and like, or a play where you do a run of the show. It's like, oh, you know, we get a new script, a new scene, like you look at what happens next for this guy. And in this episode, you know, it almost happened right away. I think I had like maybe 4 lines or something before just ba-bam and dead.
I was thinking though, in terms of being killed off, you know, I was thinking how funny that must be for Eric, who is very steeped in the world of soaps, where in the soap world, you can get killed off and come back 17 times again. Yeah. So like, I mean,
and I was going to say, Ryan, for what Ryan was saying, yeah, I mean, Ryan, you should try soap opera. If you like, you know, the story to continue, 55 years, the story can continue. Yep. We have a German scientist on our show right now that is bringing people back to life with one shot of a syringe.
Really?
So dying on a soap opera is not what it used to be. That used to be the end of it.
Listen, if we're talking about injectables, I really think this particular magical syringe would be useful. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Totally.
That's true. By the way, I just want to throw something. Ryan, the character of Alex, we saw him get shot, but we don't really get it confirmed that he's dead. Someone says it, they think so. I mean, I'm just putting that out there, Scott.
Yeah, he's swept off into the ocean. And so this is going to become a little preview for season 3. Swept out into the ocean. He wakes up in Panama, starts his own hotel chain.
Go on.
And, well, then I guess you'll have to tune in to find out what happens next.
I love that.
Here's the thing about next season. Speaking of, you know,
so in season 7, what happens is.
By the way, I think
all go to Panama.
Can't wait to be playing tennis with Keith. 55 years. Hit your
Oh my God!
Does anyone have my dentures? They fell out.
You still got it there, Amanda.
Thank you. Stop looking at my ass.
Yeah, but it's still, you can bounce a quarter off it. Yeah, we could probably do this.
We talked to the fans of the show through the social media platforms, and we have some questions for some of you that we just want to go over really quick. You know, one of the main questions that kept coming up, and this is for everybody: how did you find doing the remote recording? You know, with everything that's going on, was being remote hard, easy, great? What did you think of it?
I liked it. I think it actually came out really well. And I loved having her in my ears, and she was right there, just like in my head. There was an intimacy about it, that the way in which it was produced, that I really enjoyed. So I don't think it was a problem. If anything, I think it was an asset, the way in which I
had the exact same experience in terms of it feeling intimate, you know, and I have to also just compliment Eric on being such you know, you're a wonderful performer. You're a wonderful performer, but you're also very generous and leave room for the other person to be playing in the scene, which I think was part of why I enjoyed the experience so much. So that when you said it was, you know, what she was going to come back, I was really thrilled, because the experience, even of just like working with Eric, was so positive for me. And it is that like bizarre experience of never having met someone, but finding that space for the characters to play.
When I'm
that's really nice of you. I feel the same way about you, by the way. Absolutely. Thanks. I echo that completely.
Eric, what do you think about the other two?
Make it negative.
Yeah,
these other two
make it really negative.
I know you told them that they had to kill me off. I know it was you, Eric.
Yeah.
He said write it out of my contract. His cheekbones are too high.
Yeah,
it wasn't me. What I did know from doing the pilot was that that I didn't want to see this thing end. I remember walking out of the studio that day and thinking that was really kind of an interesting thing. There was something there. There was some little spark there, and everyone was on their game, and it was cool. And it gave birth to this series. That cast was was just clicking. We were all laughing, having a good time, but at the end of the day, something really interesting came out of it.
And I think that translates to your question about remote recording and why it actually worked so well is because when we were in the studio and we had the space and it felt very fancy and intimidating, and then you get, okay, now I'm just recording from my home, and there's still that intimacy, like having those characters there with these scripts and this story, like there was something there in the beginning, and that's what made it so easy to pull together even during the pandemic.
Yeah, it definitely made everyone, I don't know, I felt so comfortable with the other actors, weirdly, more so than if I was even in a studio setting, just because I don't know. It was great. It was really fun. I really liked it.
You could also, here's the difference for us. What we found is that you can talk over each other, or you can have a natural conversation because you're all separate tracks. When you're all in the same room,
yes.
You know, every time we did that, the Rick, who is our sound designer, freaked out. He's like, I can't separate those tracks, but now we can. And I actually think that's why we probably have the most natural, coolest digital visual podcast called Rideshare that anybody's ever made.
That's real. I think that's definitely the case.
Now, Eric, I know you have another thing to do.
Please, keep talking. I'm going to go promote Rideshare because, we got to keep this train rolling, man. So
you bet.
I'm going to go talk to some people and tell them how wonderful we all are.
Right. Fantastic.
Nice to see you, Eric.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
So nice to see you guys.
Eric Martzoff,
Love you.
our Rideshare, ladies and gentlemen.
See you around like a bowling ball. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
He looks a lot like Keith, but he's a little less of a dick.
More animated.
All right. Keith's a con man. How would we know?
Sorry.
That's true.
I had to. I have another question from our fan base, by the way. This one's from @Halsey_Edward. And he says, are there any clues about the rideshare killer that we may have missed this season?
Well, there's clues about a lot of other things. Like Keith talks about all these different things that may be truth or may not be truth. So this is a moment of truth where he has to actually go and decide he wants to clear his name. He wants to, stop somebody from killing people. And because he has a soft spot for these two lovable idiots, with Ryan being one of the lovable idiots playing Alex. And then there was also, from the original series, was Denny, who is right now being held in jail because they think he is the rideshare killer. So one clue is it could be Denny.
Wow.
The other clue is it could not be Denny.
Wow. Could be Alex.
It could be Alex. That could be the total twist is the dead guy does it.
Comes back to life. I'm pitching that right now.
Yeah. I got to tell you, the characters, the way, Julie, the way you played Amanda, I'm like, there's so many levels to it. I got to tell you, when I read that question, I'm just going to say it. I said, could Amanda be the rideshare killer? Because maybe she became kind of, saw some appeal in what Keith was doing with his lifestyle.
I certainly am not at liberty to say what's possible. I will say that I would think it would be difficult for her to balance being a mom watching SpongeBob and killing people.
Yeah.
Difficult, but not impossible.
Not impossible.
Not impossible.
Reason, Olivia, I'm glad you said that. Thank you.
Because we can do anything,
Amanda, right. Moms are superheroes. Moms are superheroes or villains.
If she put her mind to it, if Amanda put her mind to it, she could absolutely be the rideshare killer if she wanted to.
Did you see the athleticism of her tennis?
Spoiler alert on this one: Amanda is definitely not going to be the killer.
What the? Okay.
That doesn't mean
the whole explanation.
We just went through a whole thing.
That it could be.
Listen. You gotta play with the question.
No, here's the thing: the character's too goddamn interesting.
That's true.
I think it's like when it came to Alex, when we killed them, we're like, okay, it's kind of one note, What? Oh, I didn't mean that negatively.
I thought
he didn't mean that as a negative. Ryan, I was not a negative
favorite character. I was the darling of the show. That's why you had to kill him off. That's
right.
That was
kill your darlings.
Kill your darlings.
Yeah. Well, also because we knew that you would leave us for one of the other roles that you'd be offered anyway, so we figured let's break up with him before he breaks up with us.
I see you, Scott Zachrin.
Yeah,
Scott.
I know.
Scott.
I have to say though, I am distracted by your cheekbones. They are incredible.
Oh, they're spectacular.
They are spectacular.
I think it's the glitter. It's the glitter back here. That's
all of it's just great. Like hands down, 10 out of 10. Great job. Like
I have to agree. I think you won.
Cheekbones
I think you won this.
Well, he definitely won the cheekbones.
Won the cheekbones.
Yeah, and the video.
Did you see the animation though? Did the animation truly capture it? Should everyone gotta watch those episodes on?
Well, that's why we can put you in another role. We call you Cheekbones Guy.
Cheekbones Guy, perfect.
It's like a superpower. I love that.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's my gift and a curse. You know?
Yeah.
And Olivia, we mentioned before, but she was probably the only actor we've had in both seasons who played more than one role.
Oh wow, yeah, that's so funny. Because I played the in the original Digital Sky, I played the Dog Pods girl who had the dog, and then I was a mean cokehead.
Yeah, it could not be two different characters.
Yeah.
That sounds like a natural evolution.
Yeah,
she was like the delightful dream girl in one episode. Next episode, she's this like piece of garbage. Who,
yeah, those are my two modes. I have.
Could either one of those be the rideshare killer?
Both.
The dog. Bigsby.
On each other's shoulders in a trench coat.
Absolutely. Yeah.
More likely than
totally.
it was. More likely than it would be Amanda. How's that?
Yeah, that's not. But that doesn't bode well, Olivia. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I didn't see it either.
So we have another question. This one's actually for Scott, oddly enough, and this is from a friend of the show. His name is Delvin Cox, and he.
Was my mom.
No, that's my mom's burner account.
Delvin's actually a great guy. He's got a great podcast too. But
yes.
He was asking Scott, what was the inspiration for this? For rideshare?
For rideshare?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do an anthology show, and I wanted to think about apps, and there's nothing more exciting than an app. And why the hell do we get in those cars? So whenever I'm in cars, I ask people for their best stories, and then I thought, you know what, we can write something better, and or less realistic. Let's put it that way.
Right.
That's fair. Did you ever become a rideshare driver to really research this role and to understand?
No, I get lost. I have the worst sense of direction.
I
have a passenger waiting for me right now.
So that's how we
One
met.
passenger waiting.
That's good. So question for everybody. After doing this series, does this make you a little leery of rideshare drivers?
That's a great question, actually. I wonder if everyone here has a good rideshare story, because
oh God, I
think that comes up, and I definitely got some. I want to hear yours, Julie. What happened?
Julie, hit us with what you got.
One guy who just basically was actually quite terrifying and was very angry and said that I canceled the ride. I was with a friend in the middle of the ride, which I had not done. And he started screaming and pulled over at a gas station and started just screaming at me and my friend. And we said, we're not riding with you anymore. And then he started screaming and saying he was going to report us. And so we called the police. Yeah, but I still take the ride shares. They're great.
A classic female experience.
Is that right?
Pretty much. I would. I mean, after the pandemic, I mean, I'm not taking them now, but you know, I think there are times, you know, it's risk assessment, right? It's, you know, when is it that I'm going to take a ride share? Well, it's going to be a night that I feel like it's better for whatever reason that I am not the person driving. So which risk feels worse to me? And I don't like to take them, you know, all the time, but I think they can be useful if I feel like I'm going to be out really late and I'm really tired and I don't want to fall asleep at the wheel. You know, am I hoping that someone else can be a better driver than I would be at that point? Yes.
And if you need to hit someone, you have to aim for the center line of their body, and you want to use your elbow.
Center mass.
If the center of there's the eyes, nose, mouth, throat, solar plexus, gut, groin, everything in the center is what's going to knock someone out the most. If you want to use your elbow, that's the strongest part of your body, although sometimes it's hard to aim, so you can also just use your palm.
Can we be best friends?
I taught kickboxing, and then I did Krav Maga because I was like, I want to learn how to kill someone with my hands.
Oh,
yeah,
we're
already best friends.
We're super best friends. That's amazing. I mean, obviously you can tell I'm a brute force, guys. I mean,
that's fair.
I'm pretty intimidating as people go. So
definitely,
I don't really need all of
you
that,
but I could pull it out. But just in case,
just in case,
you need to know as a female using ride sharing.
I have no idea. Or someone else tell a story though. I feel like I took over.
That's okay. No, that was a great story. Ryan, go ahead and hit us with a misadventure.
You know, I was actually the driver for rideshare. So it was because, you know, Scott and I worked together before, and when that series ending, you know, nobody would ever hire me in Hollywood knowing that I worked with Scott. And so I had to find
$1 for every time I've heard that.
Find a gig until, of course, Digital Sky, which I'm so thankful to be coming back as a new character in season 3, exclusive. We are announcing it right here, right now, coming to you first. We'll just write up the contract right after this. But yeah, so I was a driver, and I've got a lot of wild stories, but the one more on theme was the carpool one. And so I was driving this young lady, and you know, a nice young man around the same age gets in next, so he's the second driver, and he goes, "Oh my God, it's you again!" And she goes, "Oh wow, yeah, we took a carpool like last week together." They just ended up randomly getting matched up again, and they're talking, and it's such a meet cute, like such a great like rom-com story. And once he gets to the point of being like, you know, we should hang out sometime, can I give you my number? I have a boyfriend.
Oh,
I live with my boyfriend, and I was just like, no, I'm up here driving, no.
Like, well, change the music to something sad.
That was the first act twist, by the way. If this was a rideshare episode, it would.
That's the first act twist.
All be well.
Well, I mean, I think that stuff's just completely wild. Like, how did that happen? They ended up in this car randomly again in one of the biggest cities in the country.
That happened in Dog Pods, actually, with Olivia's character.
Yeah.
The meet cute?
We had a meet cute, and then I had a boyfriend. Even though I was being all like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so cute and fun. I love dogs. Let's take a walk with our dogs." And then he was like, "Hey, we should hang out." And I was like, "I am getting back together with my boyfriend." And then he fell in love with his dog. Yeah. That's not, the last part's not true.
This is great. And guys, thank you for all of this time. And again, you know, Scott and I were talking about this whole season and how much fun it was, how great it was. It was a big challenge for us, and we're pumping out episodes, but the way it turned out, we can't say thank you enough. Seriously, I'm not trying to overcompliment.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
You guys were fantastic.
Thank you guys so much for having us.
Absolutely. So,
and soon, one day soon, this thing will end and we will see each other in person, and there will be a makeup artist and a wardrobe person. You'll still be doing audio, but
we look damn good. Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening too on Apple Podcasts and watching on YouTube, because, you know, they're both experiences. Listen in your head and then see it on the visual.
All right. So there you have it. Special thanks to all the actors who joined us today, and special thanks to creator of Rideshare, Scott Zakarin. On behalf of myself and the rest of the Digital Sky production team, thank you for watching Rideshare, the series, and stay tuned for more to come.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.